Hello, Abnormal Investigations. Good to see everybody. Hope you enjoy this Sunday drop this morning. Don't forget, Monday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to have a special guest on the show. Lavon Helena is going to join us, and she's got a lot of encounters and a lot of experiences we're going to talk to her about. It's going to be a very exciting interview, very exciting live. I look forward to your seeing y'all in the in the comments. I think it's going to be a really, really good night, guys. And then next Monday, we got a special guest coming, and you're not going to believe who that's going to be. So let's get into this encounter, guys. It started a few nights ago when my wife and I were awoken by a loud banging on the house. At first, we thought it was just the wind or a stray animal. But then we heard it again, a loud, insistent beating on the walls and on the windows. As we lay there, frozen with fear, we heard a strange gurgling sound coming from outside the windows. It was a low, menacing noise that sent chills all over us. My wife and I looked at each other, wondering what could be making that sound. The banging, the gurgling continued throughout the night, making it impossible for us to sleep. Every time I tried to peek outside, I saw nothing but darkness. But as soon as I stepped back inside, the banging and gurgling would start again. I decided to take matters into my own hands, and I went outside with the flashlight to try and catch a glimpse of what was making the noise. But every time I shone my light in the direction of the sound, I saw nothing. Instead, I heard the sound of running and heavy breathing coming from the woods and the weeds just beyond the reach of my light. It was as if whatever was making the noise was intentionally avoiding detection, staying just out of sight. I stood there for what felt like hours. My heart was racing with fear. I'm not going to lie, I was scared to death. As the sound of breathing and running seemed to circle around me, the next thing it started again. The banging on the house, the gurgling sound at the windows. It was all back. I was determined to do something different to try and scare whatever it was away for good. It was really scaring my wife, and I felt bad for that too, Mike. I grabbed my flashlight and I headed outside, but this time I did something I never thought I'd do. I pulled down my pants and I mooned it, and then I shot my shotgun into the air. Yes, I know. I done this out of desperation, anger, and just plain fed up with whatever it was. And then something unexpected happened. The banging and gurgling stopped. I heard a loud screech, and then the sound of running. It was running from behind the house. And it sounded like whatever it was making a beeline for the pasture. I stood there frozen in shock as I listened to the sound of the running fade into the distance. I couldn't believe what I had just heard and what had just happened. Had I really just scared away the creature with shooting in the air and doing what I did? I thought I had finally found a solution to the problem, but little did I know, the worst was yet to come. Later that night, I had to use the restroom. As I was walking to the toilet, I glanced into the back room by the back door, and my heart almost fell straight out on the floor. The creature was standing in my house just inside the opened back door. Oh shit. I screamed at the top of my lungs like a woman, my voice cracking with fear. My wife, who had been sleeping, woke up with the start of me screaming, and she began screaming also. The creature turned and walked out of the door, disappearing into the darkness, just like he wasn't even phased. Mike, I'm telling you, we were screaming like maniacs. She was crying and screaming. I was screaming. We were scared to freaking death. I didn't even make it to the bathroom, if that tells you anything. I didn't want to go near that door, but I knew I had to close it. I took a deep breath and I ran to that door as fast as I could, slamming it shut and locking it. My wife and I stood there panting and trembling with fear. We knew we had to do something to protect ourselves. We installed motion-sensitive lights around the house, and our neighbor, who has a clear view of our house from his house, he lives a little up on a hill from us, has been kind enough to shine his light on our house whenever he's up, a large spotlight. It seems to be working, and we've had a few nights of peace. But we're still on the edge, and we fear what is after us is still after us. It has taken a toll on us. We're in our 60s, and we can't afford to sell the house because, well, all of our money's tied up in it, and we don't make a lot of money on our retirement and Social Security. Excuse me. We're counting on someone for advice. What can we do to protect ourselves from this creature? We can't take much more of this. The next few nights were quiet, but we knew it was only a matter of time before the creature returned. We tried to go about our daily lives, but the fear was always lurking in the back of our minds. And then, one night it happened again. The banging on the house, the gurgling sound at the windows. We knew it was back, and we had to do something. So I grabbed my flashlight and I headed outside again, determined to face whatever was out there, for me and mostly for my wife. But as I stood there, shining my light into the darkness, I realized that I was no match for this creature. It was too powerful, too relentless, and my mind was running crazy. I turned and I ran back inside that house, locking the door behind me. My wife and I huddled together, waiting for dawn to come. We knew we couldn't live like this. This was too hard on us. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months. The creature continued to torment us, always lurking just outside of sight. As the days went by, the creature's visits became more frequent. We could hear it banging on the house, gurgling at the windows, motion detector lights flicking on and off around the house, and scratching at the doors. We tried to barricade ourselves inside, but it seemed like no matter what we did, the creature could always find which door was the most vulnerable and beat on it to no end. I still hear it. One night I woke up to the sound of the creature's heavy breathing right outside my bedroom window. I froze. My heart was racing with fear as the creature began to scratch at the window, and I could see his ugly shadow cross against the moonlight across our window. I was afraid he was going to break through the glass at any moment. I slowly got out of bed and made my way to the window. I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should even confront the creature or just hide and hope it went away. But then I remembered the look in its eyes when I saw it the one night. If this thing caught me outside, it would surely show me no mercy. I took a deep breath and I slowly opened the window. The creature's scratching stopped, and for a moment there was complete silence. Then a flash of fur and teeth. The creature's face appeared right in the window and screamed right in my face. I screamed and stumbled backwards, tripping over my own feet, landing on the end table, busting the lamp. I hit the hard floor. The wind knocked out of me. I struggled to catch my breath. I heard the creature's roar of anger, frustration, and that's when the worst thing could have ever happened. My wife was screaming, and it was trying to get in the window, but its shoulders were too broad. It couldn't fit through the window, but it was banging hard trying to get in. Its head was in, looking around fiercely, up, down, sideways, up and down, fast as it could, looking all around the room. And then it just pulled out of the window and left. I knew I had to get the F out of there. Fast, I scrambled to my feet and I ran to the other room with my wife, shutting it behind us and locking that door because there's no window in the laundry room. We barricaded the door and we stayed there until morning. Mike, I have never been so scared and sore in my life from the fall I took. The lights aren't working. They worked for a little while, but now even with the farmer up the road shining his light, this thing will not go away. We don't know what to do. For some reason, the lights doesn't work on this one. Usually lights do. You may actually have to contact your local sheriff's department, tell them you got prowlers. Get your neighbor more proactive, tell him, when you're inside, outside, and if it starts coming around, maybe y'all can come up with a plan to take care of it. I'll put it that way. You may have to do more things to get rid of this one. He sounds very, very persistent, and him trying to get in like that, I would say that it's not long until he probably tries something. So yeah, I'd be really looking for answers. Anybody got anything for him, let him know. This is really crazy, really scary, and keep me updated. I would like to know what happens. That's about all the advice I want to give you because I don't want to step over the line. I think you know what I mean, but I think you're going to have to resort to other ways of getting rid of this. Thank you for listening, guys. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we'll see you Monday night on the live, guys, at 8 o'clock.